My name is Lauren Mitchell, and for most of my life, people described me with one word. Reliable, not beautiful, not fearless, not special, reliable. The daughter who remembered birthdays. The daughter who showed up. The daughter who answered calls at midnight when everyone else ignored them. The daughter who could fly across the country for a business meeting on Monday and still arrive at Sunday dinner with a smile on her face. That was me, the dependable one, the quiet one, the one everyone assumed would always forgive. I grew up in a small town outside Savannah, Georgia, where everyone knew everyone, where church bells rang every Sunday morning, and where family names mattered more than family feelings. My mother, Diane, cared deeply about appearances. She cared about the way people talked about us. She cared about the perfect Christmas decorations, the perfect family photos, the perfect smiles. And my younger sister, Emily, was always the center of that perfect picture. Emily was the golden child. She was charming, emotional, and impossible to stay angry at. When she broke something, she cried. When she hurt someone, she apologized dramatically. When she made mistakes, my mother called them phases. When I made mistakes, they became lessons. I was 29 when I met Nathan Carter. He worked in finance in Atlanta. He was confident, intelligent, and patient in a way that made me feel seen for the first time. The first time he came to my parents' house, my mother pulled me aside afterward. "He's impressive," she whispered. I smiled. "I know." She looked at me carefully. "Don't ruin this, Lauren. Men like him don't come around often." I remember that sentence, not because it was sweet, because somehow, even then, it sounded like a warning. Nathan proposed after 2 years. He took me to a quiet restaurant overlooking the water. The sunset was orange and gold, and he got down on one knee while everyone around us pretended not to watch. I cried, not because of the ring, because I thought I had finally won something. After years of being the responsible daughter, after years of watching Emily get attention without trying, I thought maybe life was finally choosing me. The wedding was planned for October 18th, 150 guests. Our family church, a reception hall covered in white flowers. Everything was perfect, at least that's what I believed. The week before the wedding, I barely slept. I was managing my job, the final arrangements, family drama, and my mother's endless demands. "Lauren, the table settings need to be changed. Lauren, Emily needs your help choosing her dress. Lauren, remember your Aunt Rebecca isn't coming." I stopped. "What?" My mother avoided my eyes. "She's still upset. Aunt Rebecca had been my father's sister. She was the only person in my family who ever looked at me like I wasn't invisible. She used to tell me, 'You're not the quiet one, Lauren. You're the one watching,' but she had disappeared from family events months ago. No one explained why. I assumed it was another family argument. The night before my wedding, our house was full. Cousins were visiting. My mother was organizing decorations. My father was drinking coffee and pretending he wasn't stressed. Nathan had gone home early because tradition said we shouldn't see each other before the ceremony. I was exhausted. Around midnight, I walked into the kitchen for water. My mother's phone was sitting on the counter. It kept vibrating. I wasn't trying to read anything. I swear I wasn't. I only picked it up because the sound was annoying everyone. I unlocked the screen. Then I saw the message. One sentence, from Emily. "I can't wait until tomorrow. After she says her vows, he's finally ours." My body stopped working. I stared at the screen. My first thought wasn't anger. It was confusion. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe it was a joke. Maybe there was another Nathan. Another wedding. Another Emily. Then another message appeared. "Mom said Lauren will smile. She always does." My hands started shaking. I sat down on the kitchen floor. The cold tiles touched my knees, but I couldn't feel anything. I opened the conversation. 8 months. 8 months of messages. 8 months of lies. My sister, my fiancé, my mother, all connected. I scrolled. Pictures, hotels, secret dinners, messages where they laughed about me. My favorite part was the one that destroyed me. Nathan had written, "She's so busy trying to make everyone happy, she doesn't even notice." I covered my mouth. I wanted to scream, but the house was full of sleeping people, and somehow that made it worse. The whole world was asleep. Except me. I sat there reading 63 messages. 63 pieces of proof. 63 reasons why the last 2 years of my life had been a lie. Then I heard footsteps. My mother. She stood in the kitchen doorway. She saw my face. She saw her phone. And she didn't look surprised. That hurt more than anything. "Lauren," my voice came out broken. "How long?" She sighed, not shocked, not guilty, just tired. "How much did you see?" I laughed, a strange, empty laugh. "That's your question." She walked closer. "Keep your voice down." I looked at her. "My fiancé slept with my sister." "Don't say it like that." I froze. "Like what?" "Like you want the whole family destroyed." I stared at her. Destroyed. My life had just collapsed, and she was worried about the family image. "You knew." Silence. That was my answer. My mother looked away. Since November. She had known since November. Almost a year. She watched me choose flowers. She watched me try on dresses. She watched me cry happy tears. Knowing. I whispered, "You let me walk toward the biggest mistake of my life." She crossed her arms. "I was trying to protect you." I couldn't believe those words came from her mouth. Protect me, yes. From what? She stepped closer. From humiliation. The room went silent. My own mother, the woman who gave birth to me, was more afraid of gossip than my heartbreak. "Tomorrow," she said, "you will put on that dress. You will walk down that aisle. You will smile." I looked at her. Something inside me changed. For years, I had swallowed everything. Every unfair comparison, every excuse for Emily, every time I was expected to be stronger because I was older. But that night, on the kitchen floor, holding proof that everyone I loved had betrayed me, I stopped being the reliable daughter. I stood up, slowly. And I asked, "Does Emily know I know?" My mother's face changed, only slightly, but enough. "No." I nodded. "Good." She frowned. "What are you going to do?" I looked at the phone in my hand, at all the evidence, at all the lies. Then I smiled, but this time, it wasn't the smile she wanted. It was the smile of someone who had finally understood. "I'm going to let everyone hear the truth." My mother grabbed my arm. "Lauren, don't ruin your wedding." I pulled away. "No." I looked straight at her. "They ruined my marriage before it even started." Then I walked upstairs. I didn't cry, not anymore. I opened my laptop. I saved every message, every picture, every detail. Then I found the one person my family had erased. Aunt Rebecca. I called at 1:47 in the morning. She answered after one ring. "Lauren." Her voice was sleepy, but when she heard mine, she immediately woke up. "What happened?" I swallowed. "Were you kept away because you knew?" Silence. Then she whispered, "Yes." My heart sank. She knew too. "Tell me everything," I said. And for the next hour, my aunt told me things I never knew. Things my mother buried, things my family hid. And one sentence she said made my blood run cold. "Lauren, your mother didn't just know about Emily and Nathan." I sat frozen. "What do you mean?" My aunt took a breath. She was planning to announce something at the reception. My fingers tightened around the phone. "What?" Her voice dropped. "She wanted Nathan and Emily to reveal their relationship after you were married." The room spun. They weren't just betraying me. They were planning my humiliation, a public one, at my own wedding. My own family wanted me standing there smiling while they destroyed me. I looked outside. The sky was still dark. The wedding day was only hours away. But something strange happened. For the first time in years, I wasn't afraid, because tomorrow wasn't going to be the day I lost everything. It was going to be the day everyone finally saw the truth. And when the priest asked the question every wedding asks, "Does anyone object?" I already knew my answer. By sunrise, I had not slept. But for the first time in months, I felt awake. Not physically, something deeper. The version of me who had spent years trying to keep everyone comfortable was gone. In her place was someone who finally understood something. A person can be quiet and still be powerful. I sat on the edge of my bed holding my wedding dress. The dress everyone had praised. The dress my mother called the moment every girl dreams about. I used to believe that. I used to think the hardest part of my wedding day would be walking toward Nathan and realizing I was leaving my old life behind. I never imagined I would be walking toward him knowing exactly who he was. My phone buzzed. A message from Emily. I stared at her name. My little sister. The girl I defended. The girl I helped with homework. The girl I covered for when she broke Mom's expensive vase. The girl who stole the one thing I thought was mine. The message was simple. I'm so excited for today. I love you. I stared at those words for a long time. Then I typed back, I love you too. I almost hated myself for writing it. But it was true. That was the cruelest part. Betrayal doesn't erase love instantly. Sometimes you still love the person who hurt you. You just stop trusting them. At 8 a.m., my Aunt Rebecca arrived. She hugged me so tightly I almost broke. You look exhausted, she whispered. I am. Are you sure you want to do this? I looked at my reflection. The woman looking back at me was wearing no makeup yet. No perfect smile, just me. Yes, she nodded. Then I'm with you. Aunt Rebecca handed me an envelope. What's this? Something your father gave me years ago. I opened it. Inside was a letter from my father. He had written it before he passed away. My hands trembled. I read the first line. Lauren, if you ever feel like you are carrying this family alone, remember you were never meant to carry everyone else. My vision blurred. My father had always been different. He saw me. He saw what my mother ignored. At the bottom, one sentence was underlined. The truth does not need permission to exist. I closed my eyes, and I knew. Today was not about revenge. It was about truth. The church was beautiful. White flowers, candles, sunlight coming through the stained glass windows. Everyone was there. Family, friends, neighbors, people who had watched me grow up. Nathan stood at the altar wearing the suit we picked together. When he saw me walking in, he smiled. That almost broke me, because once, that smile meant everything. Now it meant nothing. My mother sat in the front row. She looked nervous. Emily sat beside her. She avoided my eyes. Interesting. Maybe my mother told her. Maybe not. The music played. Everyone stood. I walked down the aisle. Every step felt like a memory. The first date with Nathan. The proposal. The nights planning our future. All of it, a beautiful lie. When I reached the altar, Nathan leaned closer. You look beautiful. I looked at him. You look nervous. His smile disappeared for half a second. Then he recovered. I'm just emotional. I almost laughed. The priest began. The words were familiar. Promises. Love. Forever. Then came the moment every wedding reaches. The priest looked at everyone. If anyone has any reason why these two should not be married, speak now or forever remain silent. The church became completely still. I looked around. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Nathan relaxed. My mother lowered her head. Emily looked at the floor. And then, I stepped forward. I object. The entire church froze. Nathan's face turned white. My mother closed her eyes, like she had been waiting for this nightmare. The priest looked confused. Lauren, I reached into my bag. I'm sorry, Father, but there are things everyone needs to hear. Nathan grabbed my arm. Lauren, don't do this. I looked down at his hand, then back at him. You spent 8 months lying to me. His face changed. The room exploded with whispers. My mother stood. Lauren, stop. No. My voice echoed. For the first time in my life, I didn't lower it for her. No more protecting everyone else. I connected my phone to the church screen. The same screen meant for wedding photos. The first message appeared. Emily's words. After she says her vows, he's finally ours. The room went silent. Nathan looked like he couldn't breathe. Emily started crying. Lauren, I looked at her. Don't. My mother stepped forward. Turn that off. I shook my head. No. Then I played the next one. And the next. Pictures. Dates. Hotel receipts. Messages. 8 months of betrayal displayed in front of everyone. My guests watched. My relatives watched. The entire town watched. The priest looked at Nathan. Is this true? Nathan said nothing, and that silence answered everything. Then Emily finally spoke. I was going to tell you. I looked at her. When? She cried harder. After today. I laughed. After I married him. Nobody spoke. She whispered. I loved him. Those words hurt. More than the messages. More than the pictures. Because she said them like love made betrayal acceptable. You loved him, I said quietly. Then I pointed at myself. And what did you think I was? She had no answer. My mother suddenly started crying. Not because of me, because people were watching. I only wanted to protect this family. I turned toward her. No. The church became silent again. You wanted to protect the idea of this family. Her face fell. There's a difference. For years, I wanted my mother to choose me. That day, I finally accepted that she might never do it. And somehow, that freed me. I turned back to Nathan. I spent 2 years planning a life with you. He looked broken. Lauren, please. I shook my head. The worst part isn't that you cheated. His eyes filled with tears. It's that you both watched me love you. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Because everyone understood. The cruelty wasn't just the affair. It was the pretending, the acting, the smiling. I removed my engagement ring. I placed it on the altar. Then I said, I will not marry someone who needs me to be silent for him to love me. I walked away. No screaming, no scene. Just walking, the same way I had entered. Except I wasn't the same person. Outside the church, I expected to fall apart. Instead, I felt something strange. Peace. Aunt Rebecca followed me. You okay? I looked back at the church doors. I think I finally am. She smiled. You know, your father would have been proud. I nodded. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Hello. A man's voice said, Lauren Mitchell. Yes. This is Daniel Hayes. I'm Nathan's business partner. My stomach tightened. What do you want? A pause. Then, there's something else you need to know. I felt cold. What? He sighed. Nathan didn't just cheat on you. My heart stopped. He was planning to use your name. What does that mean? He was transferring money through accounts connected to your company. If everything went wrong, you would have taken the blame. I couldn't speak. The betrayal had another layer. A darker one. My aunt took the phone from my hand. Who is this? But I already understood. Nathan wasn't just a man who broke my heart. He was a man who planned my destruction. The next week was chaos. Lawyers, investigations, truths coming out one by one. Nathan lost his job. Emily left town. My mother called every day. Sometimes crying, sometimes apologizing, but apologies are complicated. Some wounds don't close because someone finally admits they caused them. Months later, I stood in my new apartment in Chicago, a city where nobody knew my family name. Nobody knew the old version of me. I had started over, not because I forgot, because I remembered. One evening, I received a letter. No return address. I opened it. It was from Emily. The letter was long. She apologized. She admitted jealousy. She admitted she spent years believing I was the perfect one who had everything. She wrote, "I hated that everyone trusted you. I hated that Mom always compared us. I thought taking Nathan would finally make me the favorite." I read that sentence many times, because it was the saddest truth. She didn't just betray me because she loved him. She betrayed me because she spent her life fighting a competition I never knew existed. At the end, she wrote, "I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I hope one day you remember I was your sister before I became your mistake." I cried, not because I wanted everything back. Some things cannot be repaired, but because I finally understood. Families can love you and still fail you. People can be broken and still hurt you. And sometimes the person you save the most is yourself. A year after the wedding that never happened, I visited that same church. The same place where my life fell apart. The same place where I stopped smiling. The priest recognized me. "You came back." I nodded. I wanted to see if it felt different. And I looked around. The same walls, the same candles, the same altar, but I was different. "Yes," he smiled. "How?" I looked toward the door. "Because last time I walked in hoping everyone would choose me." I paused, and this time, I know I choose myself. I left the church that day with no anger, no hatred, just a quiet understanding. I spent years being the person everyone could depend on. The person who stayed calm. The person who smiled. But that night before my wedding, when my mother told me to smile, she didn't realize something. She wasn't asking me to smile. She was asking me to disappear. And I finally refused, because sometimes the strongest thing a person can say is not a scream. Not a revenge plan, not a perfect speech. Sometimes the strongest thing is simply, no. And that was the night I stopped smiling and finally started living.